The deep evolution of computers. First, giants of hardware, from mainframes to laptops. In the beginning, computers weren't on desks or in pockets. They were giants. The mainframes of the 1950s and 60s, like IBM System/360 and UNIVAC, filled entire rooms and cost millions. Used by governments and banks, they relied on punch cards and magnetic tape. IBM's dominance was so absolute that the saying went, "No one ever got fired for buying IBM." But innovation shrank the giant. In the 1970s, mini computers like DEC's PDP-11 and VAX made computing affordable for universities, labs, and mid-sized companies. Competitors like Hewlett-Packard and Wang joined the race. Then came the revolution, the personal computer. In 1981, IBM launched the IBM PC, and the age of the PC clone began. Compaq and Dell soon followed. Apple, however, chose a different path. The 1984 Macintosh made computing intuitive with its mouse and graphical interface. This clash, IBM's compatibility versus Apple's creativity, would shape decades of rivalry. By the 1990s and 2000s, servers powered the internet. Sun Microsystems SPARC servers, HP ProLiants, and Dell PowerEdge became the backbone of websites and businesses. Networking hardware from Cisco and Juniper connected it all, and by the 2010s, laptops and smartphones replaced desktops as our personal companions. Second, operating systems, the war for the soul. The operating system is the soul of the machine. In the early 80s, PCs ran on DOS, IBM's PC-DOS, Microsoft's MS-DOS, and Digital Research's DR-DOS. They were text-only, cryptic, and unfriendly. But in 1990, Windows 3.0 introduced icons, folders, and multitasking. In 1995, Windows 95 delivered the Start menu and Plug and Play, becoming an instant hit. Windows XP in 2001 became legendary for its stability, remaining popular for more than a decade. Windows 7 refined it, Windows 8 stumbled with touchscreens, and Windows 10 and 11 tied desktops to the cloud. Meanwhile, Apple's macOS followed its own path. Starting with the original 1984 Macintosh, it reinvented itself in 2001 with macOS X, merging Unix stability with visual elegance. This system powered Apple's comeback, fueling the iMac, MacBook, and eventually the iPhone's iOS. In enterprises, Novell NetWare once ruled the 80s with file and print servers, but Windows Server displaced it. And in 1991, Linus Torvalds sparked a revolution with Linux, free, open source, and community-driven. Linux became the foundation of supercomputers, web servers, and Android phones. Today, it powers everything from cloud data centers to space probes. Third, the processor wars, Intel, AMD, and Apple Silicon. At the heart of every computer lies the CPU. Intel's 8088 powered the first IBM PC. Then came the 286 with multitasking, the 386 with 32-bit processing, and the 486 with a math coprocessor. In 1993, the Pentium chip became a household name. Ads even made processors cool. But Intel wasn't alone. AMD rose as a challenger with its Athlon and later Opteron processors. The competition sparked a golden age of fast, affordable chips. In 2006, Intel's Core 2 Duo introduced multi-core processing. The Core i3, i5, i7, and i9 series dominated the 2010s. But in 2017, AMD struck back with Ryzen, shaking up the market. And then came Apple. In 2020, it shocked the world by ditching Intel and creating the M1 chip, based on ARM architecture. It combined CPU, GPU, and AI engines in one chip, delivering incredible speed and efficiency. Apple Silicon redefined what laptops could be, and its successors, the M2 and M3, continue to lead. Fourth, storage, from floppies to the cloud. Early storage was fragile and tiny. Floppy disks held only kilobytes, first 8-inch, then 5.25, and finally the 3.5-inch. Hard drives followed, massive, noisy, but slowly shrinking in size and price. Brands like Seagate, Western Digital, and Maxtor became household names. In the 2000s, SATA hard drives became the standard, holding hundreds of gigabytes. But their spinning platters limited speed. The revolution came with solid-state drives, SSDs, from Samsung, Intel, and Crucial. With no moving parts, they were faster, lighter, and more durable. And now, the cloud has made storage limitless. Services like Google Drive, iCloud, Dropbox, and OneDrive allow us to carry terabytes of data in our pockets, without ever owning a physical disk. Fifth, networking, wiring the world. The first networks were crude. Coaxial cables with BNC connectors connected a handful of computers. They were fragile and slow. Then came Ethernet twisted pair cables, Cat3, Cat5, Cat6, boosting speeds from 10 megabits to gigabits per second. Fiber optics revolutionized long-distance communication, transmitting light across continents. Networking giants like Cisco, Juniper, and Huawei built the Internet's backbone. At home, brands like Linksys, TP-Link, and Netgear made Wi-Fi commonplace. And mobile networks extended connectivity everywhere, from 2G voice calls, to 3G internet, to 4G streaming, and today's 5G, enabling smart cities and autonomous cars. The race to 6G promises even faster, always connected futures. Sixth, databases, organizing the world's knowledge. In the 1980s, personal databases like DBase and FoxPro gave small businesses powerful tools to manage records. FoxPro became so popular Microsoft bought it, evolving it into Visual FoxPro. For enterprises, Oracle, IBM DB2, and Microsoft SQL Server dominated the 90s, running airlines, banks, and governments. On the web, MySQL powered Facebook, WordPress, and Wikipedia. PostgreSQL grew as a feature-rich alternative. And in the era of big data, NoSQL databases like MongoDB, Cassandra, and Redis emerged, handling unstructured information at massive scale. Today, cloud-native databases from Amazon, Google, and Microsoft drive the AI era. Seventh, spreadsheets, the killer app. In 1979, VisiCalc turned the Apple II into a business tool. In the 80s, Lotus 1-2-3 became the killer app for IBM PCs, fueling corporate adoption. Competitors like Borland's Quattro Pro tried, but Microsoft Excel eventually took over. By the 1990s, Excel became the global standard, not just for business, but for science, education, and everyday life. And in the 2000s, Google Sheets moved spreadsheets online, introducing real-time collaboration. 8th, web browsers, the gateway to the Internet. The Internet needed a doorway. In 1994, Netscape Navigator opened it wide, becoming the most popular browser of the 90s. But Microsoft bundled Internet Explorer with Windows, sparking the browser wars. Netscape collapsed, and Microsoft dominated. But Netscape's spirit lived on in Mozilla Firefox, born from open-source code. Firefox reintroduced speed and security. Then came the game-changer, Google Chrome in 2008. Lightweight, fast, and constantly updated, it quickly overtook all rivals. Apple's Safari served Mac and iPhone users, while Opera pioneered features like tabbed browsing and built-in search. Today, Microsoft's Edge, rebuilt on Chromium, competes in a Chrome-dominated world. 9th, the future, AI, cloud, and quantum. Computers continue to evolve. Artificial intelligence powers self-driving cars, voice assistants, and medical breakthroughs. Cloud computing lets us access supercomputers through a smartphone. And quantum computing promises to solve problems beyond the reach of today's silicon, from drug discovery to cryptography.